quiet now on the moon. All the spirits have been released. All the documents and recordings chronicling their lives and their stories have been collected. Yet, we still find ourselves no closer to locating our missing fiancée Claudia. And all we have left to go on now is this observatory key and the hope that she might be waiting for us there. Still, before we make our journey upwards, there are a few optional things we want to get out of the way first.
That stone was the beginning of everything. And that's what you will face in the end. What you will wish and how your wish will be granted. I'm looking forward to seeing it through. Oh yeah, come to my room one last time. The picture's done.
Now, you might recall when we first met Android Kenneth, I made some allusions to the fact that he seemed like he might be malfunctioning, that the isolation might have affected his core circuitry. It's only now that we've come to realize that he has not been alone up here at all, and that instead he has been growing, evolving, possibly learning free will, while also adapting his own measures to keep doing his job of chronicling what's been going on at the facility. And it's now, with all the spirits free, that we get the full picture of just what he has been doing in here. Now, we have been looking at some of these portraits over the course of the game, and it's nice to just get some visual feedback about all the progression we've made, all the people we've helped. More importantly, though, looking at all their faces now, it strikes me that not only did Android Kenneth capture their inner essences, but he didn't capture them at their final moments of despair or loneliness or anger. Instead, he seems to have pictured them in their status of the afterlife. After we've released them, they seem happy, joyful, released, pleased. And it really gives you an overall sense of accomplishment from all your hard work in the game. Sadly, though, we aren't going to be seeing Android Kenneth again, because after he is painted himself, or at least the person he was modeled after, he just completely disappears from the facility, possibly released, much like all the rest of the spirits in here. Still, outside of the pictures, he did leave us one other gift on the table here. A master key to the elevator. And it's at this point that we now remember that there was another basement floor that we could access in the elevator. It's just that up until this point, it would have been locked off to us. But once you have completely freed everyone on the facility, including the optional ghost, you are now given access to this mysterious final floor.
Access granted. Releasing lock.
What's especially strange about all this is that there's been no documents, no mentions of this second basement floor. Seems like no one in the facility ever went down here or even had access to it. there aren't many avenues of places to go down here. Just a fairly unassuming hallway leading to a single unmarked door. Where we happen across the final resting spot of a mysterious man. Now, in addition to who this man might be, there is also the question of why is there a portrait of Claudia down here? I assume that Android Kenneth must have drawn it and kept it down here for some reason, but why would he have drawn it for this particular man? Well, the answer to that we can find on the desk here. Because as we open the inventory, we see that we are in the director's office. And we already know there's some connection between Claudia and the director. And it's here that we get the full force of what that connection was. It seems that they had some relationship in the past where he was hoping and praying that she might make her way up here at some point. And he did leave her at the altar, so that means they were going to be married. But it's signed Richard Osman. And that's our name. Yeah, up to this point, the director has only ever been referred to as the director. We never really knew his name, and it starts to sink in now that it might not have been a mistake that so many people had been identifying us as the director. The question is now, does that mean that we have been a ghost this entire time, or is there something more to it? Leaves a lot of questions regarding our existence and who we are at this point. We haven't really been given that much of a backstory outside the fact that we are Richard Osman. Sadly, there's not too much else to glean from the director's office. It's fairly Spartan. All that it has are the director's two passions in life, the moon and his fiancée, Claudia. And since there's nothing left for us down in this isolated tomb, there's only one final place for us to go. And that is what I believe to be the highest point in the facility, the observatory, where I can only hope that the clear, open sky might be able to allow us some further understanding about just what is going on.
So I created you to make you look
So we are given the cold reality of who we are, and the option of making one final wish. So blindly following orders is not the way to go. Instead, we need to assert our free will and turn down the stone. Now, while those are certainly available options for the player, there is another avenue they can take, and that's something I like to call blissful ignorance. You certainly aren't forced to go down there and find out about your true existence or the fact that you're been long dead. Instead, you can just head straight to the observatory to get some different endings. And so, we are given the option to maybe make a wish, not knowing that we are currently an android. So, choosing now not to kill ourselves with this accursed red stone, let's turn down her offer. And there you have it. A very somber end to the finale that is Echo Night. Now, what can we really glean from those endings? They seem to paint a picture of free will versus programming, the tortured star-crossed love affair between Richard, whose final wish came true as Claudia made her way to the moon, and likewise Claudia's final wish to be reunited with Richard. Both had their wishes fulfilled, but in reality, both already had their wishes fulfilled before they even left for the moon or interacted with the red stone. It's definitely a sad story all around, but one that has had a marginally happy ending considering that everyone was already dead. Still, hopefully you enjoyed this adventure through the final Echo Night. Hopefully you will join me next time as I continue LPing whatever it is I decide to LP. And yet again, I want to give a very big shout out to my very lovely girlfriend who bought this for me as a birthday present. I want to say that, well, I would never leave Earth, I would never head to the moon without her. I love you. See you next time.